And I go, Steve, look, I just got a check for $6,000 just for telling someone to use this agent over here. He goes, you got your license? And I go, yeah, I got my license. And he goes, you're going to be so good at this, Cal. Here, these friends of mine just bought this house. Next thing you know, Jack, the next day he's calling me, telling me that these friends fell out of escrow. They don't like the agent. He wants me to get them into this house, and this house.
Hey, Jack Lehr here. I'm down in Lehr Podcast. Super grateful to have an amazing human being that entered my life back in last October of 2021. It feels like we've known each other for a long time, but this young lady is out of Scottsdale, Arizona, Kelly Griffin Porter. Welcome, Kelly.
Hi, Jack. Thanks so much for having me on this show. This is so fun.
Most definitely. I mean, we're just getting started and we're going to have a lot of fun, hopefully, right?
We better.
Most definitely. Because if we're not having fun, Kelly will be what?
I'm out of here if it's not fun, Jack.
Okay, very good. So Kelly, and everybody, in full disclosure, Kelly and I are business partners out in Arizona with our Scottsdale team, and we'll talk a little bit about some other things that we're doing and expanding out in the Arizona market. Okay, but Kelly, will you mind sharing with our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the real estate world?
Yeah, I trip and fall into everything I do, it seems, in my career. I tripped and fell into radio ad sales. I was very successful at that. And then I got my real estate license absolutely just to have it for our own deals, our own sales and purchases. And it didn't work out that way. I took a course with a lender early on in my career in 2010. I got the license in 2012. I took a course with this lender and I was like, I got to do this full time. What am I doing here? So I kind of tripped and fell into real estate as well.
It just kind of became natural.
Yeah, I guess it's funny. People always said, oh, you've got your real estate license, Kelly, you're going to be great at that. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do real estate. And here I am, 12 years later.
Very nice. So after that, so you were in advertising sales, right?
Yep. For most of my life. Yes. I was in radio ad sales, which is really hard. It's like, I'd walk in and talk to a business owner and get them to spend $10,000 with me. And I had nothing to give back to them because it was a radio ad. It would air and then it would be gone. So it was challenging, but I loved it. I was successful at it.
And you had a team, right? At that time or not?
No, not this time. No,
Okay.
I did become a sales manager in Reno, Nevada for 2 radio stations, Magic 95.5, which is still there. And the other one was, I don't remember the numbers, but it was the Hawk. It was a classic station. We killed it in Reno. It was so much fun. I had a team of all women because the station that was my primary station was female based, and we would advertise for salespeople. So because it was 99% female, I got a team of females. We were teased a lot. We were called the Barbie Squad. It was pretty fun. The other teams, we always had fun. I always laugh about whatever. So we all kind of embraced that and we named ourselves. So I had Rocker Barbie. I had Tardy Barbie. She was always late. We had a blast with it. From there, I came back to Arizona. I did start in Arizona, my career. And then when I came back from Reno, I went back into radio ad sales and I promptly got fired. I got fired from my job. I know. Very big misunderstanding. But then again, it was like, I didn't really care for the upper management. And here I was going from manager to now salesperson. I probably had something to do with that. Probably thought I knew more than them. But when I got fired, I went into magazine sales, and magazine sales is like, it was the easiest thing ever. At least it felt like it, because you'd get someone to give you money for an ad and you give them this beautiful Phoenix Home and Garden magazine and their picture, you could, frame their ad. And it was amazing. I became publisher of Phoenix Home and Garden magazine, and that was my goal and my dream job. And then from there, I went and started a video production company after I I felt like I had conquered all the goals with Phoenix Home and Garden magazine. Okay. So we did a video production company, a TV show, and that was a bad timing because the market had crashed. Nobody was spending money on something new. The new home sales, but my goal was to go to the new home sales and showcase their properties.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is the market crashed. They weren't building anymore. So it was bad timing. Yeah. So that's when I got my real estate license. And I thought, well, I'll just get that and just have it. I've got time, to get it. And then my very first sale was because I told somebody that I had my real estate license. One of my investor friends, still to this day, he's an investor friend. And he said, I had gone to pick up a check for a referral. So when the short sales were happening, one of the brokers in town said, "Hey, Kel, I know you're getting your real estate license. If you know anybody, I can give you a referral fee for these short sales. Let me explain how they happen." Okay. And we all know there's nothing short about a short sale. So he had a referral check for me, and I went and I picked it up, and I came back and I had run into this guy, Steve, and I go, "Steve, look, I just got a check for $6,000 just for telling someone to use this agent over here." He goes, "You got your license?" And I go, "Yeah, I got my license." And he goes, "You're going to be so good at this, Cal. Here, these friends of mine just bought this house. Next thing you know, Jack, the next day he's calling me, telling me that these friends fell out of escrow. They don't like the agent. He wants me to get them into this house, and this house. It was a lot of fun. I didn't have a business card, a lockbox key, an MLS login. I had nothing. I called the broker that gave me the referral check where I hung my license. I had to hang it somewhere. And I said, "Jason, I need to get into these houses. How do I do it?" And he starts looking them up on MLS, and they're over $1 million. And in that time, it was hard to get anybody to buy anything, right?
Yeah.
So he said, "Oh my God, I told you you'd be good at this, Cal." I'm like, "Okay, well, what do I do?" The good thing about that price point is that the agent opens the door, the listing agent opens the door and shows the property for you. So all I had to do was just show up, which I make it sound so easy. It's not easy. But so I would show up, and these listing agents would train me basically on how to show $1 million plus property. So that was my first check. And that's when I said, I need to get into this full time. Like, it's that easy, Jack.
Most definitely. So it's interesting that you talk about like your first experience. And sometimes we come in with these preconceived ideas where everybody, we hear it all the time, Kelly, where they say, "Oh my gosh, I can go make a lot of money in real estate." And you certainly can, right?
You absolutely can.
But
yes.
The instantaneous gratification that everybody has and goes, "Oh, I see them doing it on TV." They don't realize the energy and effort that goes into becoming successful. But I want to touch base on something that came to my mind here, is that when you entered the industry, you didn't have preconceived ideas, right?
I wasn't going to do real estate. I wasn't going to be an agent. I was going to do my video production company or do anything else. And I don't know why, but when I got that first check and I'm looking at $27,000 and it closed really quickly, they were a cash buyer. I was like, I need to do this full time. This is amazing. $27,000 just like that.
Yeah.
And I stopped everything else I was doing. And that's when my lender took me to a class. It was the Buffini class, Buffini and Company. That class basically told you how to make real estate into a business. And so that was okay, I'm all in. I moved brokers. It was like the light went off. Yeah. But nice. No, I had no preconceived. I wasn't thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be super rich. I'm going to go do real estate and make a ton of money," like Showing Sunset or The $1 Million Listing or all these TV shows that make it look so easy.
Yep. And certainly you can do that type of stuff, but it's interesting. Again, Kelly, you came into the industry, no preconceived ideas, and you just did it. You showed up, and most don't show up. And that, like in any industry that I get to talk to incredible folks, but like a lot of people that want to join a team or, "Oh my gosh, you guys are killing it. I see that these people on your team just sold $1.75 million this past week alone, or 1.1, you're 20 years of age." And then all of a sudden they go, "Well, heck, he did it. So why can't I?" and coming in and just putting in the energy and effort and learning everything you can without getting the over analysis paralysis, which we see quite often as well.
Yes.
I just love how you went in there and just went after it, and you get that $27,000 check and you're like, wow, this can be something special.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been a leader. So when I moved brokerages, I moved to a broker who opened his own boutique agency. And I was the one that was teaching everybody, and I didn't even know what I was doing, really. But people kind of flocked to me and like, okay, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just talking to people. You just got to talk to people. You got to tell them you're an agent. And open houses, I enjoy them. It's like, I always say weekends is where the gold is at in real estate, and people think they can make their own schedule, and you can, but
that just has to be a part of that. Has to be a part of it again, or you got to do the other things that are necessary that most are not willing to do. So Kelly, let's talk a little bit about that mindset. Okay.
Yes.
I do want to get into how we met. I think that's important, but I want to talk about mindset, and like that kind of goes hand in hand with how we met and maybe your experience. So you were selling real estate, and then you had an incredible mentor.
I did.
I think it's important to talk about this, gentleman, because it's really the reason how we probably came together.
Yes, Jack. So you're a product of who you surround yourself with, right?
Proximity. Yes.
You surround yourself with people who are better than you. At least that's how I think. Okay, I'm going to be the best real estate agent ever. I'm going to join this brokerage over here. These big teams are like killing it. So I joined Remax Fine Properties.
Okay.
And the reason I joined is because Del Rounds, who is the mentor you were talking about, Del Rounds was incredible. He was like boots on the ground. He was running his own team. Other agents outside would be like, isn't it like a bad idea to work for an owner of a brokerage that has his own team and he sells against you? I'm like, no, I'm learning from the best. Are you kidding me? There's enough business out there for everybody, right? So I would go, before I joined the brokerage, I would go and stalk his meetings. I called it I was like, I'm just an imposter here. I'd be at a different brokerage, and in his meetings that it was for the Remax, right? And he would literally get on the phone and call expireds. I didn't even know expireds was a thing. So he would get on the phone and call expireds right in front of us on speakerphone. And when the person would react and everybody would laugh, the person would hear us all laughing. So it was a really fun Thursday morning. And so one time he said, Kelly, go out there and find 3 expireds that you want to meet. And we're going to take an hour and go out on Tuesday, whatever. So I found 3 expireds. I actually found 5. And then he got into my car. We drove to these expireds, and we knocked on the door, and he just boots on the ground, showed me how to do it. Really, really great mentor. And anytime I ever had a question or like, hey, I'm going to build a team, so what do I do? He would hand me his team agreements. He was just such an open door, here's my knowledge. The reality, Jack, is when people get into real estate, I always tell them, I'll tell you what to do, but 99% of people don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, I did it. I'm like, whatever Del does, I'm doing. So the mind shift came when I actually met Jack. Del Round sadly passed away unexpectedly. I was surrounded by these teams of real estate agents that were very motivating to me. They did the work, but they would discount their commissions. Mm. And when I asked Del about that earlier, before he passed, obviously, he said, hey, it's your business. You do what you want to do with it. Well, that's all well and good, but they're working way harder than I'm working because we don't discount. So the way that I met Jack is when Del Rounds left, I had a lot of people surrounding me wanting me to help them with their business, kind of replace Del in their minds. And I didn't really know what to tell anybody. I'm still winging it, right? So I went on to the Tom Ferry Network and I joined the coaching program because Del used that program when he would do his meetings. So I was like, well, I guess that's where I got to go. So I hired a coach. I got my coach. I'm like, okay, here's what I need. I don't need you to hold me accountable. I do a great job of that. I'll do the work. I need a business partner. I need systems. I need processes. I need all the things I hear about. I don't know what they are. Let's do that. And this coach didn't do any of that, but it's okay. He insisted that I go to the summit in October of last year, 2021. And he insisted that I attend and I meet agents. All right, I'm going to go. So my daughter's name is Dallas Griffin. My daughter Dallas is on our team. And I thought, I'm like, I can't go to Dallas, Texas if I don't take Dallas Griffin because we've never been. So we go to Dallas, Texas, and we check in our hotel, and our coach calls and says, hey, meet us at this restaurant. So we're like, okay, let's go. This is what we do. So we go down and we go to the restaurant, and there's Jack and Sarah and another one of their agents, and Dallas and Kelly and our coach. And I was like, I don't know, Jack, you were so inquisitive. Like, so what do you do every day? And like, how do you do it? I'm like, I didn't have the answers, but the beautiful thing is I don't have that coach anymore, and neither does Jack. We have a new coach, and she's fabulous. But Dallas Griffin and I met Jack Lehr in Dallas, Texas on Griffin Street. That's a sign, don't you think?
I mean, it chokes me up because I sit there and think and go, oh my gosh, like all these things. And like, I had no idea who you were. I wasn't looking really, like, we were looking in our Florida expansion, but that was being worked on and almost finalized. And then but we had this idea of expanding across the United States. And then Kelly says, I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've never been to Scottsdale. And I always go back and say I'm attracted to the great areas, but I think I was attracted to what Kelly was about as a human and what she wanted to do with her business and kind of where you were. I was like, wow, this, and let's fast forward just a tiny bit. After Summit, like, we stayed connected. We started having some conversations. We did a couple of just mentoring or coaching sessions, and Kelly,
I would call them mentoring sessions for sure. I feel like you have it dialed in. You know what has to happen every day. I know the work I have to do every day, and I can be a leader and teach people to do the work. But I didn't know what the work was necessarily. A lot of it, mine is just, I built my business by talking to people. Well, there's talking to strangers, going to Starbucks, wearing my name tag, bringing up that I'm a real estate agent every chance I got. But there's more to it. There's, the TC part of it, the marketing part of it. There's all of this stuff. And Jack, you definitely mentored me for sure, or coached me along. And that's when, as we were talking, I had told you that's what I had said to my coach. Like, I need a business partner, don't hold me accountable. Don't ask me how many calls I made today.
Yeah,
I'm doing the calls, right? I need a business partner, someone to conquer this with. And I wasn't thinking that we were going to be partners, but I love it. It's working out great.
Yeah. But during those mentoring sessions, it was like Kelly had shared with me, hey, our mindset is this, like, everybody's doing 2 or 2.5% per side. And like, that's what they pay. Yep. And there was a couple other things you were doing that I was like, it doesn't match up exactly but I think it's just like those little tiny shifts. Those little paradigm shifts make a big difference in revenue, income, in that mindset development. And the thing that I was most impressed with, Kelly, is that when I said, hey, let's make this a little adjustment. Are you willing to do that? And you said, yeah. And then you did it.
Just tell me how to do it and tell me what to do. I'll do it. Again, you're a product of who you surround yourself with. And I was surrounded by successful agents that didn't value all the hard work that it takes to make a sale and how great they are at what they do and the knowledge that they have. And it's insane, the liability that comes along with this job. You're worth every penny. You're worth every penny. You advise these people on how to stay out of trouble and, get through the contract. And it's incredible. Yeah. So I was surrounded by people that took 5% listings or whatever they took. And I just followed suit. Right. But then, Jack, you're so good at kind of getting into the, why are you doing this? What's happening in here? You're great at getting in there and dissecting what's going on upstairs, right? You call it head trash. Get that head trash out of your head, right? So, yeah. So, I don't know. I thought, well, I'll do anything. So Jack says, get this buyer broker agreement signed. I'm like, never have I ever even thought about that. All right, let me read it. How do I write it? And then it's all up here. The minute you go, oh my gosh, it's a first-time home buyer. They can't afford this. Well, if they can't afford to pay you, they can't afford to buy a house.
100%. And we've had plenty of those instances where someone sees 5% on the MLS, but our buyer agency has 3% per side, plus a transaction fee. And all of a sudden you just make that paradigm shift and you go, wait a second here, I'm worth it. Absolutely. My team's worth it. And not every cent of every transaction goes directly to that agent. Like there's a lot of it's divvied out. And if we can if you're going to take 3% and take it down to 2 and then divvy that out, that becomes, a significant discount of your services, right?
Yes. So why not sell as many houses as you want, but maybe you don't have to hit the number you hit last year by selling more houses. Maybe you're charging what you're worth.
Yeah.
And then selling less houses.
It's pretty cool.
I always thought more. Yeah.
I think it's really cool is that so we're involved in a bunch of organizations and some high level coaching. And again, we have some incredible coaches. And then sometimes we hear well, that's what that market dictates. Well, guess what? The Scottsdale market dictated that. The Maryland market dictates 5. The value that we provide, we're 6 or 7, all total, or 3.5 per side on every transaction. And there's ways to get that paid for. You could get lender participation. You could get it put into the loan. You can have them make a payment plan. There's so many ways to help you get paid your value and your worth that a lot of people listening are going to go, well, there's no way it can happen in my market. I'm going to just share this with you. Kelly told me nobody charges admin fees or transaction fees, and nobody charges above whatever they're offering per side. I heard it. I said, quite frankly, I called it bullshit.
You did. And you go, bullshit. All right, I'll hear you out. Yeah, you're right.
We had people that joined our team that came from different teams that said, oh, well, I don't believe it. I don't think that's true. I said, well, if you can have these conversations, it's amazing how much value your clients place on you when you show your own value. It's
true. It's true. So one of our agents, Jack, just got a cashier's check for the difference. There's lots of ways to get it.
Yeah.
So what's also interesting, and I think is super important, if you have the conversation about what you charge as a buyer's agent and the fact that you have these sales, when it was crazy and there was multiple offers, we were getting our offers accepted for a number of reasons, because we're professionals and we know how to get it done and how to write the contract and we have relationships. That's worth something. But the cool part is that I think it was March 17th of this year, the MLS, I think it's nationwide, is saying that, this is what the buyer's agent is being paid by the seller. So now you have the conversation, when you're looking at the listings, keep in mind you've got closing costs. It's usually about 2.5%, 3% of the purchase price. Be prepared for that. And by the way, in order to calculate what we are paid, look at what the seller's paying and know that you got to make up the difference. They're like, okay, that makes sense. Of course you're worth it. If you say it with confidence, you gotta believe it here first. And yeah, we've had a lot of fun getting that in place.
Yeah. Self-identity is one of the most important parts and most powerful aspects in this world. And having your self-belief match up with, with your worth and your value makes a big difference. And again, I always talk about what's one of the easiest way to increase your revenue. Just get paid your worth. You don't even have to increase your sales from year to year. If you're a 2% or a 1.5% per side, just go up to 3%. I just got a pay raise. Everybody got a pay raise. My broker, everybody in my team got a pay raise because I decided to value myself.
Yeah, it's very true. It's once you get past, I mean, I gave you pushback, didn't I? I pushed back before we did our partnership. I gave you pushback.
Or a lot of it.
And it was all up here, Jack. It was all up here because we're getting paid. We're getting paid by the buyers. Things are changing.
I think it's beautiful because so Kelly, this is pretty cool. I love this stories because you actually referred out an opportunity in the commercial side with a client, right? Okay,
it was not are you talking about the business?
The business, that's considered, yeah.
Okay, so it was a business sale. It was these clients of mine were selling their moving company. And I had the real estate license. They were using someone from another state to do the listing and all the marketing for it. And they weren't getting a lot of traction. And the gentleman called me up and said, hey, if we can use your license to go on this one site, we just need an Arizona license and we'll pay you a referral fee. Well, okay. I'm like, sure. So, sounds fine. So he goes on and did the whole listing and they used my information. So I'm getting the emails and the phone calls. And all I did was transfer it over to him. And these people, we found the buyer for their business because of that. And the way that I even found these people, Jack, I was training an agent on how to knock on doors. And he was watching the Selling Sunset. He's like, I want to go higher, higher, higher. I'm like, okay, let's go. So we go to this house that was an expired listing. And we talked to the guy in the driveway. There's the owner's walking into his house and he stops. I'm like, hi, hi. So he's like, yeah, we're moving up north because, but we gotta wait for our business to sell. I'm like, no kidding. What's your business? And he starts telling me it's a moving company. And so I'm like, okay, what if I find a buyer? He's like, that'd be great. Here's my agent's number. And they ended up not using the original agent. So, when they switched agents, I was still in touch with them because I wanted that listing. Mm-hmm. Well, I found the buyer for their business through that site. That was the marketing site. They're like, well, you found the buyer for our business. You got to sell our house. I was like, let's do it. So $3.1 million house. I'm like, no problem. So it all started with just knocking on someone's door and talking to them.
Knocking on the door and getting a very, very significant referral. It's probably the largest one that I've ever seen, right?
I couldn't believe it.
Half 100 plus, right?
It was unreal. I'm like, maybe I should get into selling businesses now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It was really cool. Yeah. Every day is different in this business. Every day is an adventure. It's awesome.
All right. So Kelly, we all have our own story to tell, and you have an incredible story. That's for you to share someday. I'm not going to go there right now with our listening audience, but there's probably so many reasons why Kelly should not have be the most positive person that I've ever met or been exposed to. But she is one of the most positive humans, always having fun. She definitely is serious, but she has fun at it. And your positivity, talk a little bit about that. Why are you so positive?
It's so funny. I get that all the time. Like, wow, you're the most positive person I know. I'm like, that could be you. That could be any of us. It's again, all up here. So, so growing up, I had an alcoholic, abusive father. And it was terrifying to be at home. I actually left home at 17. I'm like, I don't care what I have to do to survive. okay, when you go through something like that, when you go through only knowing the negative, yelling, screaming, tiptoe around environment, and then you get out there. I was a waitress at a little coffee shop in a grocery store called Smitty's. They're not here anymore, but I would sit there and I would wait on. So the guys, the older gentlemen would come in, and I would work the little coffee shop, counter, and they would come in and they would, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm great. Let me get some coffee. They leave me a quarter. I'm like, that was a cool quarter. I had quarters. It was just interacting with people and not being afraid anymore. Like anyone can find the good in everything. Like I do. I will find the good in everything. One of my mottos is, I look at a situation that a lot of people would get stressed over. Stress never goes with my outfit ever. So if it's a situation that I can control, then I make a decision. If that decision wasn't a decision that worked, I'm going to make a different decision. It's as simple as that. If it's something that I cannot control, I have to let it do its thing. I can't control this. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. Or this is the pill we've got to swallow. Let's just get through it. There's no changing it. Right. So, I don't know. I've trained my mind to find something good about every situation. And it's an exercise you do on your own in your mind. You make the decision to find something good about whatever's going on.
Yeah, Kelly does an excellent job of that. And even like when we have disagreements or something that doesn't make sense or we just don't understand, it's and like maybe I get fired up and go, "What the hell, Kelly?" or "What the heck's going on here?" And it's interesting where Kelly has helped me understand, maybe there's a different way of thinking about it. And then I take a different approach and I'm like, "Hey, that was an awesome solution." And we're both super positive about the outcome. Yeah. Versus, getting all like bent out of shape over something. Kelly just helps me a ton. And I've seen her help a lot of other folks in her life do that. And people are truly blessed to be around Kelly. That's for sure.
I appreciate that. I feel like I'm the blessed one. I've got great people in my life. But it's, things happen to everybody. Everyone is going through something. Life just happens to people, and to have a kind heart about that, I don't yell and scream. I don't get upset. I never did it with my kids. We just talk things through. It's the yelling and the screaming. I didn't want that in my life. I had plenty of it. It's my childhood. I didn't want that in my life anymore. It wasn't welcome. I was breaking the mold, basically, because a lot of people become their parents. Yeah. And my dad and I are super tight today, but it was a journey. It was a journey, and we got through it. And he's an incredible grandfather to my kids. I didn't take what he did into my family. He did take what his dad did into his family. So most people do follow the pattern. And I just made a decision. I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
That's the key thing. You made a decision because it is a choice. Okay. Yeah. So you can either continue with it and make and not break that cycle, or make a decision, and which Kelly did. And I think it's incredible that again, so many people get to be around Kelly and then get to experience this, because I get to see it and I get to experience it. I get to experience it from other people around us on our team and just others that come into our life. And I see Kelly firsthand, the way she brings that positivity to their life. And you see somebody comes in with a scowl or just a pissed off look, and next thing you know, they're like, "I don't know, this is the brightest piece of sun that ever hit me." It's like I'm in Scottsdale, 115.
I know, 115 degrees. Yeah.
I know.
It's a dry heat. It's easy.
Absolutely. So Kelly, what do you do best?
Well, probably what you just said. So what do I do best? I solve problems. I actually love it. So I love to play poker. Love it, love it, love it. I love to compete. Friendly competition, of course. I love to win.
let's just be real here. She's a killer. She plays to win. We do putt golf against each other, and like I know I'm way better, but she competes and she kicked my ass. So yeah,
I love to compete. It's hilarious. So you can't win in a real estate transaction unless you get all the way to the finish line, right? Mm-hmm. So along the way, I don't get excited about the inspection report or whatever. Sellers and buyers are so emotional in real estate. So I think I'm really good at managing emotions. I always say, I manage people's emotions for a living. That's what I do. But you can't win until you get to the finish line. So you've got to strategically figure things out and make all parties, including the other agent, agree. Sometimes that's a challenge, but at the end of the day, I think problem solving and motivating and getting to the finish line is what I do best.
I love it. So Kelly, you are obviously a leader for your team lead, and we're business partners, but you're handling all of our Arizona expansion. How are you at being a leader?
Well, I've been a leader a lot of times. I think I'm pretty good. You have to create an environment that people want to show up to work, because coming to work it's a choice, right? Mm-hmm. So building them up, solving their problems. So, let's can get inside their own head sometimes. And that the positivity that you spoke of that I have, let's get through this in your mind so that you can continue working and getting to your finish line. Right.
Yeah.
So I do coach them on their problem solving, and I love to motivate them. And we do, calling together. Sometimes I'll have mimosas here for the calls because sometimes they just have to loosen up and get out of their mind and make those phone calls. And someone might call them a cockroach, but you know what? They don't know you. I've been called a cockroach before. That's why I said that. But I'm like, you don't know me. I'm not a cockroach. I guarantee it. But, I just don't let that get into your head. So motivating, goal setting, not just numbers, but like when you get to this number, what do you want to buy with that? Or for instance, do you want to put in a swimming pool for your family? Now we start talking about, oh my gosh, the swimming pool, you're so close to that swimming pool. Like you put it in a different way for them. I don't know.
Yeah, you do a great job of that. I love it. And I think, when you have the systems and reporting that allows you to understand your pipeline, some stuff that we're growing into in our Scottsdale market.
Yes.
It's nice to have that, because then you go, oh my gosh, I have enough clients in my pipeline to buy that pool, to take that trip to Europe, to do the things I want to do, to purchase that Tesla, or or to help my mom, or to give to a charity, to help somebody that's in need.
Yes.
It's beautiful to have that.
100%.
Because we have some big givers on our team, right?
There is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love being exposed to and having those people in our world. The givers are the biggest receivers.
Always.
By far. So,
yes.
Go ahead, Kelly.
I always believe that whatever you put out there, you're going to get back tenfold. So I agree with that. Yes. Big givers, givers of all kinds.
There's some biblical principles to that for sure. And that's a wonderful that we go in there with a giving heart. And again, we end up receiving so much, and not because we're looking for that, it's looking to help others. So
it's rewarding.
I love that we match up so wonderfully there, Kelly.
I agree.
So growth plans, you're looking to grow, right?
We're looking to grow.
Oh, okay.
So we are expanding in the Tucson area. So right now we're in Scottsdale. Scottsdale borders Phoenix. We're just one big area. So Phoenix, Scottsdale, Peoria, Glendale, Gilbert, that's all kind of Maricopa County. So we are looking to expand in Tucson, which is southern Arizona. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away from our office in Scottsdale. And then when Jack and Sarah were in town last, I took them to Sedona. Wow. And if anyone out there visits Arizona, do you agree? They have to put Sedona on their list. Just go.
You got to go and spend a couple of days in Sedona. The electric, I think it's called the electrical vortex.
Vortex. Yeah.
There's male and females. I like the male one standing on top of there and having that. And it's funny because the park ranger said, when you go there, you must be positive. I'm like, I am with the most positive human on the face of this earth. I cannot wait to have this positivity magnified. And we got up there and we spent some time, and it was just unreal. But Sedona, we're going to grow into that area.
We're going to go to Sedona for sure. Sedona borders Flagstaff, totally different. There's no cactus in northern Arizona. It's the pine trees and mountainy, and the Sedona area is the red rocks. It's crazy how as you're driving in, it just starts to change. Yeah. And those two areas, but then Prescott is just south of Sedona. And so the Prescott, Flagstaff, Sedona area we're going to. Love it.
And then we have some other expansion plans as well. We're not going to talk about that right now, but certainly we're going to be all around Arizona and probably multiple locations in the Phoenix area, right?
Yes. Very exciting.
Good deal. So Kelly, advice. I'm a new agent.
Okay.
What would that sound like? Advice that you would give to a new agent?
A brand new to the business agent.
I just got my license. You're mentoring me. And I go, Kelly, I'm brand new to real estate. What should I do next?
I love it. I love when I get to help the new agents. So first of all, don't be a secret agent. Make sure everyone you know knows that you have your license. One of the biggest things people, again, they're in their head. They're like, I don't want to call my friends and family and tell them I'm an agent. I'm like, why wouldn't you? They're the ones that love you the most, right? It's the first phone call you should make. So I always say, start with your Christmas card list. Start there because those are the closest people to you, easiest phone calls to make. Make sure that people know that. Be really big on social media. Social media is an incredible free way to talk about what you're up to.
Yeah,
and remind people.
And I apologize, Kelly, because you can make 100 phone calls or you can do one post and hit 1,000, right?
Right, but you should do all of it.
You should definitely be doing that, but that's one part of it. Yes.
It is. Advertising is expensive. I should know. I sold it. Yeah. It's even more expensive than when I was out there. So social media is really, really a big part of our business. We go live Jack is the king of live video. We go live, we shoot professional videos. You got to be comfortable on camera. And if you're not, don't worry, we're going to help you.
It's helping you get out of obscurity. Like, stop being that secret agent that Kelly talks about. Yeah. And again, this is your advice. I'm just expanding on it, right?
I love it. Well, we think the same, I think. So it's very great to have you chime in. And then I'll wear my name tag. And a funny story actually is I accidentally wear my name tag upside down. And that's like the best way to talk to people. They're like, oh, excuse me, your name tag's upside down. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. And then they're like, you're a real estate agent. Yeah. How's the market? Everyone says, how's the market?
It depends. Are you looking to buy, sell?
I just say,
or invest.
It's an easy conversation to have. I've sold many homes in the grocery store, wearing my name tag, in the Starbucks line, wearing my name tag. It's you got to grow your database. You need to talk to strangers and you need to grow your database. So another thing that I think I'm really strong at is open houses. At an open house, now before we have the systems we have now, I would just find a way to get the people's information. I didn't have a sign-in sheet. Nobody wants to sign in. Electronically, we do that now, but I would find a way to get their information. And so I would tell the new agent, do open houses Monday through Sunday, like as often as you can. It's a storefront for you. Mm-hmm. People walk in, you meet them, find a reason to get their information. And I've got some techniques. Maybe we'll do a podcast on that. That's open houses. I'm really good at open houses.
We'll bring you into our 1737 mastermind to help people that way. Yes.
Awesome.
She's already coming. Already wants to come back for episodes.
I'm already coming back.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
So I want to share a story, and I want Kelly to expand upon it because it's about building your sphere, building your network, and it's at the Westin Kierland, one of my favorite places in the whole entire world. But there's this fireplace in the evening. Now, maybe not this time of year, but at least the large majority of the rest of the year, where the coyotes are howling because their next kill, and there's all these people from all over the world, but a lot of within the United States. They come from like Detroit, Chicago. They come there. They're like, we're here to buy a house. So introverted Jack gets very uncomfortable having these conversations, but super proud to listen to them. So Kelly, like share a story or two, because I've seen it on multiple occasions where we're sitting there, a bunch of humans hanging out, we're having a few beverages, people are walking on the fire, even though they're not supposed to be. We've seen that happen. What happens next?
So it's a round fire pit with seating all the way around it. And Jack loves to go there and hang out. I got to go to the fire pit. And they come and they serve you drinks or food or whatever you want there. The Westin Kierland is right at a really big shopping area. So it's a popular place because you can just walk right across the street and go to the major shopping.
Pretty high-end area. Yep.
Yeah, and it's very attractive to people. So I'll go there with my name tag on and I'll sit in the lobby. There's a really beautiful lobby that's not right at the front door. You kind of walk down some stairs and I'll sit there and I'll wear my name tag and I'll just have my computer and I'll be working and you just make eye contact. I make eye contact with everybody anyway. So you make eye contact and smile and next thing you know, they're like, hi, just be approachable, right? So making conversation. So at the fire pit, I think I say, like, so where are you from? Because no one's from Arizona. I'm the only one, right? So where are you from? Oh, really? Next thing you know, I'm like, do you want to get information on real estate in Arizona? Yeah. Anyone else want to have information on Arizona real estate? Yeah. All right. What's your name? What's your number? What's your number? Yeah. What's your email address? Yeah. Find ways to build your database because even people out of state know people that are moving to Arizona. Why not have them refer you, right?
I think Kelly's being a little modest here because I've seen her collect everybody's cell phone number and do a group text with all the strangers. And next thing you know, she's helping them the next day go look at a new build that they were presented. And it's like, I just got a new client. I'm like, oh my goodness.
You know what? There's so many stories. I didn't know which one you were referring to.
That's one of the most, and I've seen it multiple times. Like everybody's getting a text from Kelly, from strangers. They're all group texting and going, oh, it's pretty remarkable to see what Kelly does. Kelly, like with an experienced agent, I come in, I'm experienced. I'm like, yeah, I've been in the industry, I've got all this stuff going on. What type of advice do you give that person?
I'd actually have to have a long conversation with them because you need to know how they run their business now. Yeah. There's no canned answer for that really, Jack, because everyone has their own demons in their head and their own like, okay, I don't want to call internet leads. I only want to do open houses. Yeah. Or, like I would have to interview and just see what do they do now? What's missing? Why aren't they doing what's missing? I'm sorry. I can't just come up with a canned answer. I think that's beautiful. Like you're seeking first to understand before being understood. Why come in with something that's pre-canned if it's not, if you don't understand where they're at? Because some could have had super successful, like individual careers. Some want to join a team. Some came from, bad situations. Some came from a team that just didn't match up. There's lots of different scenarios of conversations you get to have on a daily basis, right? So many. There's so many. It's so fun. I love the agents in our area. I mean, we all need each other, right? So one advice I would give to the agents that are experienced is make sure you've got agent relationships. Because a lot of agents are like, they're my competition. I don't want to talk to them. Yeah. Or I don't want to go to happy hour, this happy hour where it's all agents. Like, what does that do for me? You know what I mean? But it does a lot for you because when you know the person on the other side, it's a lot easier to say to your buyer or seller, you know what? We got a professional on the other side. So that would be probably one out of the gate that I would absolutely say.
And they could say it to almost anybody, right?
Anybody. Yeah.
That's great. So Kelly, I'm super grateful that I got to spend the last, several minutes together, maybe a little more than that. And is there anything else you want to share with those out there? And obviously we'll put your connection information on here on the podcast so they can connect with you. But anything that you would want to share, one last parting word.
Just remember how awesome you are. Just remember how awesome you are. You have to be your own biggest fan first. So be proud of yourself. Be proud of the hard work you do. Get inside your head, be your own biggest fan, and then go out there and you can kill it and it will be painless. It'll be fun. And when you love what you do, it's not work.
Well said. And again, Kelly, I'm super grateful that I get to spend this time here today with KGP. Kelly Griffin Porter. Yep.
I really loved this. Thanks for inviting me.
All right. Everybody, you make your day great. We'll see you next Tuesday.
See ya.